Hey Beer Tube, Ryan back with another episode of San Diego Beer Vlog. We continue with Russian River and their sour ales. Just looked at Consecration. Next up is Temptation. Now this is another ale that they've aged, in this case, in Chardonnay barrels. So I expect this beer to have a nice white wine-like characteristic. Consecration had a very red wine-like character to it. This beer is aged 9 to 12 months, so it's aged even longer than Consecration. This is also bottle fermented. Like Consecration, they use Brettanomyces for the yeast, and they add in some bacteria to give it the acidity. So let's get this open, get it in a glass. I've never had this beer before. At least not that I am aware of. I did have some Russian River Belgian style ale on tap, but I can't remember. It's one of all these Asians, and I get them all, well, we used to get them all mixed up, but let's get Temptation open. Nice pop, decent smoke. This one clocks in at 7.5% ABV, so it's a little lower ABV than Consecration. So I'm gonna pour this slow. They recommend that you leave the yeast in the bottle on this one. Yeah, I'll get not too aggressive a pour, but not quite the head I was expecting. Expect a little more going on there, but it is kind of up there in ABV. Pretty much just a white head. Mostly small bubbles, some medium-sized ones in there. As I'd expect, just a very champagne-esque carbonation going on. Lots of bubbles streaming up from the bottom of that glass. Color-wise, I mean, very similar to champagne. Very clear, very effervescent beer. You get a nice goldish, like a lighter gold color to it. So let's get the nose on it. So you're getting that sour character, just like Consecration, except this one is less fruity. It's a little drier, more champagne-like. Not a whole, just a tiny bit of the funkiness from the Brett on there. I'll try to get some more, stir up some head there. So you get the yeasty quality, and you get that wine-like fruitiness to it. Like a white wine fruitiness, and so let's dig into this. Cheers. All right, this is sort of similar to Concentration, that you get some of that sourness up front in the mouth, and then midway through the wine kind of champagne-esque flavor kind of comes in at the end, and it cleans out a little of the sourness for a nice dry finish on the beer. What I like about this, it's not overly carbonated like a lot of Belgian strong blonde ales can be. This one's it's a medium to full body beer, more on the medium size, but I like the fact it's a little less carbonated. You get a little more nicer mouthfeel up front instead of just getting blasted with carbonation and then taking a while for your taste buds to pick up on the flavors. But yeah, very white wine-like dryness to it. This one's kind of borderlines between a beer and a dry white wine or champagne. I mean, it's kind of carbonated like a champagne. You get a lot of white wine dryness on it. But then you have that, up front you get that sour little kick. It's not overly sour. It's kind of like sucking on a lemon slightly. It's kind of not quite a sour lemon. It's got just a touch of sweetness in there to not go completely mouth puckering. Okay, I've been sipping on Temptation more. As it warms up, you get a little more of the fruitiness coming into play. It's kind of a little more muted when it's colder. As it warms up, you get a little more fruitiness. You get that, still getting the same kind of sourness up front, and then followed by the fruity, sparkling wine-like character for the dry finish. And just for reference, this is batch number 05X1E, so you can look that up on Russian River's website and get all the characteristics about this batch number. This one might age a little better. This is a very recent release, so it might get a little more sour as it ages in the bottle, and maybe develop a little more funkiness too with the Brett that's in there. This is bottled conditioned after all. So I'm going to give this one a B+. It's a real solid beer. It's definitely an above average beer. It just for me doesn't lack some of the nice tartness that you get with like a Consecration. I prefer some of the more darker sours. They seem to be a little more complex, but this is a pleasant drinking beer. I'd say drinkability is a little higher though than Consecration, but a B+ for this year's latest batch of Temptation from Russian River. So please comment and subscribe to the channel. Love seeing a lot of the comments you guys give me. By the way, this beer just won a silver medal at the 2010 Great American Brew Festival. So until next time, cheers.